every night in St. Louis. We're at the Edward Jones Dome, the home of the NFL St. Louis Rams. And this weekend, it is the site of the Midwest Regional, starting with the semifinals here on TBS. The 13th seed in the Midwest, the Bobcats of Ohio out of the MAC Conference, taking on the #1 seed, the Tar Heels of North Carolina, by way of the ACC. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr. We'll be joined in a moment by Craig Sager working the sidelines. And as reported earlier by Craig, the big story, North Carolina will be without their starting point guard and team leader Kendall Marshall due to that fractured right wrist. So the Tar Heels will start a freshman, Stillman White, making his first ever start. And Steve, he's been playing about 4 minutes a game.
You talk about one shining moment for Stillman White. I mean, what a position to be put into. But Roy Williams told us yesterday his job is to just not lose the game for us. You don't have to win it. You just don't have to look like a backup quarterback in football.
And we'll also see 6'5" Justin Watts, who's kind of a combo guy, play some at point guard. Now, how does Ohio head coach John Gross and his Bobcats deal with the situation tonight? What's their approach?
Well, they have to deal with the big front line of North Carolina, first of all, Marvin. That's going to be a major issue because Stillman White's job is just to get the ball into these three guys here, Barnes, Zeller, and Henson, all three first-team All-ACC players. And look at the combined numbers for those three guys. If Carolina can take care of the ball and get the ball inside to those three, they should be in good shape. But for Ohio, this is a really talented team, Marvin. DJ Cooper is their point guard, a guy who really sets the table for the rest of the team, and he happens to play the position that is really going to be a problem for North Carolina. He's a point guard, he scores, he spaces the floor. This is a very well-coached team, and they're playing with extreme confidence coming off the 2 wins last week. And with the unknown factor of North Carolina, if Ohio can hang in there and make some threes, they could win this game.
And Ohio players, you talk to them, they say, we're not a Cinderella team.
That's right.
They want respect. So coming up, North Carolina and Ohio back with the starting lineups and the opening tip in a moment. Very nice.
Got another one of these.
Now, for 40 minutes, we do not flinch. Physically loose, mentally tight. Remember our deal. It may shock the world outside the walls. It surprises no one inside the walls. We expect to play well. All right, let's go out and make sure we're aggressive and that we're swinging haymakers now. Let's go. Walt, you got it.
1, 2, 3.
All four, one, four.
1, 2. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.
minutes, we do not flinch. Physically loose, mentally tight. Remember our deal. It may shock the world outside the walls. It surprises no one inside the walls. We expect to play well. All right, let's go out and make sure we're aggressive and that we're swinging haymakers now. Let's go. Walt, you got it.
1, 2, 3.
All four, 1 throw.
1, 2, 3.
Finish.
Let's shock the world, says Ohio head coach John Gross in his 4th year as the head man at Ohio. He has Evo Baltic, John Smith, Walter Offutt, Nick Kellogg, and DJ Cooper in the starting lineup. North Carolina with that enormous and talented front line of John Henson, Harrison Barnes, and Tyler Zeller, Reggie Bullock, and the freshman Stillman White in the backcourt as North Carolina controls.
Ohio starts out in their man-to-man. We'll see this a lot tonight. We'll also see some 2-3 zone. John Gross's team will mix it up, trying to find the right combination.
It is a traveling violation. So the ball to the Bobcats. This is only the 3rd time North Carolina and Ohio have played. Their last meeting at Chapel Hill, February 2002, and Ohio won the game. Their previous meeting, North Carolina winning by 42 at home. That was back in 1985.
Interesting, Marv. We see Stillman White guarding DJ Cooper. I think that was the question mark coming in because everyone's talking about White offensively, what he'll do. Cooper is the best player on Ohio, and Stillman White gets the assignment and gets called for the foul right away.
Off the drive by Offutt. Reach-in called on White. And there's Roy Williams, the Hall of Famer. He's won 2 national championships, reached 7 Final Fours. You saw Kendall Marshall sitting it out. Offutt gets inside. Back comes the Tar Heels. A record of 31-5 during the regular season. Barnes is off. And that big front line gets right to it. Tyler Zeller, the senior from Washington, Indiana.
North Carolina is the #1 rebounding team in the country with a rebounding margin of better than +10. And if North Carolina can just take care of the ball and get shots up, they may not even need to make them because they'll be there for offensive rebounds.
Cooper firing away, and it's kept alive by Baltic. Evo Baltic pops it out to Offutt. Offutt, yes. Walter Offutt, who had a huge game on Sunday against South Florida, 7 of 9, 4 of 4 from downtown.
This is a perimeter-oriented team, Marv, with Offutt, also with Nick Kellogg, the three-point shooter, and we also mentioned Cooper, of course. They're not going to get a whole lot of scoring inside, so they're going to have to make threes. I think they've got to make probably 10 to 15 threes to win this game.
Foul is on John Smith as you look at John Gross of Ohio, guy with lots of energy, lots of enthusiasm, used to drink 5 cups of coffee a day, and Stevie says it's now down to 2 a day, although no one believes him.
I don't think he needs coffee, not during the tournament anyway.
Just underway here in St. Louis. Kellogg with the rebound. Kellogg, the son of our colleague, Clark Kellogg, an excellent three-point shooter. Offutt fires for 3. And back comes the freshman, Stillman White. He is guarded by Cooper. Gets it inside. John Henson, who has made it back from a sprained left wrist. Although that has become secondary to the injury suffered by Kendall Marshall.
Yeah, nobody talks about Henson's wrist anymore, but he looked fine on that play.
Players kidding Henson, saying, "You're just yesterday." Baltic. Good hustle, kept alive. Cooper is on it. Smith tried to set the screen.
Just shocking when you see up close the size differential between these two clubs. Carolina, other than White at the point guard, just bigger at every position.
Oh, what a move by Offutt as he whipped by Zeller, who was looking for the rejection.
Well, Marv, when we talked to John Gross yesterday, he said we have to limit the easy baskets in the half court. You see the grimace there. Maybe the wrist is bothering him a little bit. But Gross said we got to limit transition baskets and the easy ones in the half court. And that's too easy. They can't give up those back pick layup type hoops because Carolina will just feast on those if you give them to them.
Barnes' shot was deflected short. Zeller right there for the foul. Reggie Keeley, a 6'8" junior, has come on for Ohio. He's usually an early sub for John Smith.
I think this game is really interesting in terms of tempo. Both clubs aren't really sure what to expect without Kimball Marshall. And John Gross, normally a coach that doesn't like to play really fast tempo, as we see an offensive foul there, I believe, on Keeley. But I think Gross needs to kind of figure out what's going to happen out here without Marshall and what tempo his team needs to play.
The officiating crew, Tom Eads, Don Daly, and Kelly Self, as Keeley picks up a quick one of the ball back to the Tar Heels. A steal by Cooper. Four minutes gone by, and a 6-4 lead for North Carolina. Cooper firing one up. Zeller is on it.
Justin Watts is in the ball game, already in for Stillman White. I would look for both those players to share the point guard responsibilities. There's another offensive board for Zeller.
This time could not finish. Back comes Cooper. A.J. Cooper averaging 15 a game to lead the Bobcats. Baltic. Ivo Baltic out of Kansas City is banned from the Czech Republic.
Very important player in this game as Barnes can't get the turnaround to go.
Baltic on that loose ball.
And the reason he's important, Marv, is because he can space the floor as a four-man. Cooper trying too much in transition.
Cutoff gets it down low. Here's Zeller. Third field goal. He has 6 points. North Carolina with an 8-4 lead.
And I think Roy Williams has to be pretty happy, Marv. Carolina playing with good tempo, good pace. They're getting the ball up the floor even without Marshall.
Kellogg passed on a 3. Baltic.
And he's the guy who will be open. Lay-in or dunk for Henson. And John Gross needs to get a timeout here. Ohio looks a little out of sorts here early. And the size of Carolina has been a major issue. There's the block for Zeller, and then at the other end, just too much size down low.
Okay, not out of this one. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Avery playing Bella. Yeah.
And are they still getting blown out? Okay. Ricardo Johnson coming into the game. He's looking for a little energy in D, and they just don't have the size though.
All right, thank you, Greg. Couple of substitutions for Ohio. T.J. Hall and Ricardo Johnson have come out for the first time. This is all rejected by Zeller, and last touch by Ohio. North Carolina inserting James Michael McAdoo, the 6'9" freshman, and P.J. Hairston, another freshman, as we go to break with North Carolina in front of Ohio, 10-4.
These timeouts are these back-to-back timeouts.
There's no time.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to St. Louis, where North Carolina leads Ohio by the score of 10-4. With Kendall Marshall out with that broken wrist, Carolina has turned to the relatively unknown freshman, Stillman White. Last year, he was playing for Brett Queen at Goddard High School in Wilmington, North Carolina. I called Coach Queen this afternoon, and he said that Stillman is very athletic and quick. And although he is under 6 feet tall, he used to jump center, and he controlled most of the tips. As to answer your question, Steve, he said he used to guard the opposing team's best player, and he did have the ability to stay in front of him. Despite how he does today or the rest of this tournament, his competitive basketball days will be through for a while. At the end of the school year, he is fulfilling a 2-year Mormon mission. So yes, this indeed could be just one shining moment.
All right, Stillman White playing the first 4 minutes, replaced by Justin Watts. North Carolina back on it. Here's Bullock and a pull-up. Reggie Bullock, sophomore out of Kinston, North Carolina, moved into the starting lineup late January after Dexter Strickland went out for the year with a torn ACL. Nice feed from Cooper. Keeley not able to hit. The story for the Tar Heels early: Tyler Zeller, 6.6 rebounds and 2 block shots. Zeller with the jump hook. Tyler Zeller, all ACC first team, the ACC Player of the Year, and the nation's Academic All-American of the Year.
And just dominating this smaller Ohio team, Marvin. To this point, Carolina has done a decent job of handling the ball. They haven't gotten hurt, at least with live turnovers. And so everything for Ohio in the half court. Keeley gets fouled. He'll go to the line. And this is Zeller's favorite move here. Right-handed jump hook. He just gets it off so quick. Not great extension on that but he's so much bigger than his opponent there. He can just turn and shoot right over the top.
Hairston on the foul. So Keeley at the line looking to stop a 10-0 run by North Carolina. You can watch every game on the road to the Final Four live on your computer, iPad, iPhone, or select Android phones with NCAA March Madness Live. Visit ncaa.com/March Madness for more information.
Well, I think John Gross has to reevaluate his game plan right now. We haven't seen any pressure up the floor to this point, and Carolina really handling things easily and then dominating in the half court. I think he may have to start thinking about employing the 2-2-1 zone press that we've seen them use from time to time this year and try to speed this game up. I know Carolina likes to play fast, but if it's a half-court game and it's about height, Ohio's in huge trouble.
Traveling violation called on Harrison Barnes. So the ball back to Ohio. The Bobcats 29-7. The Mid-American Tournament champions. They started the season 12-1. One loss at Louisville. They stumbled a bit, then turned it in time for the conference tournament. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 10 of their last 11. Here's Hall on the drive. Nice reverse by T.J. Hall.
Well, they've got a lot of guys like Hall who can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim. They're very athletic.
Reach in and foul is called on Hall.
Well, we saw Offutt get off to a quick start. Now Hall gets into the action. Look at that beautiful reverse lay. And Cooper is the guy that John Gross needs to get going. His star point guard who has gotten off to a slow start. But if they can get all three of those guys starting to penetrate, now all of a sudden they can get into the drive and kick game and start knocking down some of those threes.
John Smith returning for Ohio. Here is Barnes. That's a 3 for Harrison Barnes, who shoots 38% from downtown. Stevie Taylor is coming at the point and fires away. Shot selection is a question with Stevie Taylor, who knocks it away from Watts and out of bounds. Last touch by North Carolina. Break in the action. We'll be right back. No, I didn't say it. I knew it. Yeah. Do you know the score? Baylor by 7 over Zeta. Okay.
Yeah. You know, I'll bet they've never played in a dome. I want Sags, maybe you could find that out if they've ever played in a dome. I doubt it.
Ohio.
Maybe 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament, they played Georgetown and Tennessee, but that was the first rounds, so I'll bet it was not a dome. Thank you.
Back in St. Louis, a look at our tournament summary and some the highlights to this point. Billy Donovan's Gators making their 4th Elite Eight appearance the last 7 years. Rick Pitino's Cardinals of Louisville in their 3rd Elite Eight appearance. State of Ohio well represented. And at the half, Xavier trailing Baylor by 7 points in the game on CBS. As Smith makes his move, a traveling violation is called. Ohio, Steve, 3 of 15 from the field. The Tar Heels 8 for 14, and they have out-rebounded Ohio 13-5.
Well, they've definitely been overwhelmed by the size of Carolina. I wonder if they're overwhelmed by the enormity of the environment here. I'll bet they have not played in a dome before as McAdoo loses the ball going up, but this is a different situation for Ohio. Carolina's been here pretty much every year. They look like the more settled team.
Fake by Baltic, and then a bad pass. Stillman White back on the floor, starting at the point for Kendall Marshall, then sacked for several minutes. Baltic with the rebound. Hooper with a one-hop pass, and it's deflected away from Smith.
But Bullock with a great defensive play after the feed from Cooper. Looked like it was going to lead to a lay-in.
At the other end, Bullock comes up short. One-handed by Offutt. Here comes Cooper. And by White. Cooper to 3.
And that may not look like a good shot, and frankly it wasn't, Marv, but John Gross has to live with some of those from Cooper. He has to play with that swagger and that confidence. And when he gets going, even with some of those bad shots, that's when this team is really at its best.
Cooper shoots about 36% from the field. Nice pass from White and a foul. Foul committed by Baltic. But even though Cooper has struggled with the shot, still has the green light.
And he should. I mean, he's the engine for this club. We've seen him hit so many big shots, and not only in this tournament, but throughout the season. He was the MVP of the MAC tournament, averaged 20 points, 7 assists. So he's the guy who makes them go. They've got to live with some long-range shots from him.
John Henson at the line, only a 58% free throw shooter. Zeller comes back from McAdoo. This year, enjoy more madness with Coke Zero. Text CAMP to 2653 for a chance to attend an ultimate basketball camp with 3 of your friends. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We're at the Edward Jones Dome, St. Louis, Missouri. Halfway through this first half, and it has been all North Carolina. Cooper's pass off the, oh, there's an offensive foul. Cooper pushing off on Stillman White.
White doing a great job fighting over numerous screens there with a little help from Tyler Zeller. And then once the play breaks down, Cooper gets a little frustrated. Forearm shiver, easy call for the official. So nice job by Stillman White.
For North Carolina, their 43rd appearance in the NCAA tournament. That dates back to 1941 as Bullock hits a 3.
Picking up where he left off, made 3 3-pointers against Creighton. Bullock with just a beautiful looking stroke.
Offutt using the screen from Baltic. Crossover by Baltic. Tried to go glass, and it was deflected short.
You see, he is rattled by Henson's length, and I don't blame him.
3-point attempt is off this time, and it is saved by Kellogg. Here's Cooper, and comes up short. Zeller. Foul is called on North Carolina. Zeller over the back. That's his first. And the Tar Heels' 4th team foul.
Well, the strength of this Ohio team is really their ball movement. And when they start playing well, it's when the ball goes from one side to the other, penetrate, kick, make the extra pass. But Carolina has not even allowed that to happen because their defense is so long and active. And Ohio just hasn't gotten into any kind of rhythm offensively at all.
Ball was off. Coming up on 8.5 remaining in this first half. White played by Cooper. Now the ball deflected out following the miss by Hairston. So the Bobcats back in control. This is Ohio's first trip to the Sweet 16 since the NCAA tournament expanded to its current format.
They did have a great run 2 years ago where they upset Georgetown in the first round before losing to Tennessee. Several of the players on this club were there, and I think that's been a factor as Kellogg lines up the three and knocks it down. But the experience of the tournament, getting those couple games under their belt for guys like Cooper, I think very important for this club.
First three for Ohio. They missed the previous 6, and that was the first shot attempted by Kellogg. Offensive foul on Barnes. Barnes picking up his first. Tar Heels by 11.
Was that number 1, Paul? First foul? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no help. Great. Yeah, that's Offutt who didn't stay, didn't help at all. Are we going to show that at a break? Okay. Okay.
And 1 of 7.
Okay. Back in St. Louis, North Carolina up 11, really utilizing their length and size so far. Here's a perfect example. Look at the back pick coming. Baltic gets caught on the screen. Henson goes right to the rim, and Offutt neglects to help. There's the catch and the easy lay-in. But the size at both ends of the floor has been a major problem for Ohio.
Another turnover by Ohio leading to that. P.J. Hairston. So North Carolina now 10 for 21 shooting. Ohio just 19%, 4 of 21 from the field.
It's a big sequence there too, because the three from Kellogg kind of swayed the momentum just a little bit. It felt like Ohio had a glimmer, and then the quick turnover, easy hoop for Carolina, and they're right back in control.
Well, Reggie Healy threw up a knuckleball on that hook shot. He represents the Bobcats' size at 6'8", about 265.
He's a guy who likes to score, averages about 9 per game, but normally does it against smaller players. He's not used to playing against this kind of size in the match.
White lost it, able to recover and picks up an assist with the feed to Tyler Zeller. And now John Gross takes a timeout for Ohio with just under 7 minutes to go. First half.
Oh, look at that. Oh, goodness. Hey, do we have, hey, Paul? Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Never mind. Yeah, okay. Marv, they have 0 fast break points, Ohio, so they've been dead ball turnovers for the most part.
Welcome back to the Midwest Regional semifinals on TBS. As we look at our game summary, you see the poor shooting by Ohio. 7 turnovers for North Carolina, but 0 fast break points for the Bobcats.
Yeah, most of the turnovers have basically been dead ball situations. They haven't been able to create any live ones, so as a result, no easy hoops for Ohio.
Cooper gets the screen from Keeley, but is met by Zeller. The winner between North Carolina and Ohio will go against the winner between Kansas and NC State coming up later. To be on to the Elite Eight. That is a 3 for Nick Kellogg. So he has attempted 2 shots. He's hit both from downtown.
It's been basically their whole offense to this point, minus a couple of buckets early for Offutt.
Pushing foul. It is on Hall. Kellogg is 42% from three-point range. He has hit now 79 three-pointers, among the leaders in the conference.
And only 21 two-pointers on the year for Kellogg. So he's a guy who really looks for that three-point line and feeds off of the penetration from Cooper.
Deflected out, last touch by Ohio. This is day 2 of the Sweet 16. The winners move on to Sunday's Elite 8. Justin Watts back on the floor, coming on for Stillman White. He's played 8 minutes. Hairston with a quick release. Last touch by Baltic, try to save it off the deflection from Keeley, so Tar Heels have a new shot clock.
Frustration for John Gross and his team. Even on the missed shot, when Carolina doesn't get the rebound, they pose such a threat that Ohio ends up deflecting the ball out of bounds.
This time Baltic took it away from Zeller. Kellogg moves to the front court. Kellogg's pass batted away, recovered by Keeley. Offutt for 3. Yes. Walter Offutt with 7 points. And you can hear the Ohio portion of this crowd respond.
And that's their game, Marv. Penetrate, get into the lane, and find the open shooters. They made 9 threes against South Florida last weekend, and that's how they were able to win that game.
McAdoo is stripped. Zeller had it knocked away, and it's last touch by Zeller. The Bobcats get it back. It is spurred here by Ohio.
Yeah, and I think Carolina, Marv, has probably shot a little bit too much from the perimeter. They have such a big advantage inside. I know Roy Williams' team's DNA really is to get out and run and shoot and fire away, but they have such a big advantage in this game. I think they've got to pound it inside first.
That's an offensive foul. Off the drive by Offutt, the basket will not count.
Great play by Tyler Zeller, who actually leads the North Carolina team in charges taken this year. That's his 25th of the season. Also has 50 blocks, and it's rare that you see a big man who does both. Most big men are either charge takers or shot blockers, but the level of sophistication defensively for Zeller is really impressive. He can read the situation and then make his decision whether to take the charge or go for the block.
Just under 5 minutes remaining. First half, knocked away from Zeller. So Ohio now doing a good job last couple of possessions on Zeller. Cooper finding Bolton. rebounded by Watts.
This is where you see North Carolina really miss Kendall Marshall on the post feeds. Watts with the turnover.
And this is Cooper playing it hard.
Well, one thing I've taken from this first half, Bob, is that Stillman White is much more suited to play point than Watts. Watts has turned it over 3 times now. He does not look comfortable at all handling the ball.
8-0 run by Ohio. 4 straight turnovers by North Carolina. Watts gets it inside and a foul. Foul on the catch made by McAdoo.
Here's where Watts gets himself in trouble. There's nowhere to go. Don't lose the game. Just, all you have to do is make smart plays at the point. That's what Roy Williams talked about yesterday at practice. You don't have to win it for us. Just don't lose it. So make the smart play. Throw it to the perimeter. Let somebody else make the post feed and play off your bigs.
Foul committed by Hall of Ohio. That is his 3rd. And here is James Michael McAdoo, 6'9" freshman from Norfolk, Virginia. Averages just under 6 points per game. It's 1-1 for McAdoo. Ohio battling back now within 7. Cooper with the pass. Cooper the 3. Long range 3, but it's kept alive by Smith. Baltic, nice spin. They swing it. A long 3 once again, this time coming up way short.
Well, Ohio starting to look like itself, Marv. They've got a bounce to their step. They're moving the ball. Baltic just made a beautiful move. That was a great offensive possession. They just weren't rewarded for it.
8 unanswered for Ohio. That ends right there off the bank shot.
The other thing Carolina has to think about, Marv, as this game goes on, all post feeds should be in the air. Don't throw bounce passes against a smaller, quicker team down low.
Johnson not able to hit, and it's last touch by Henson of North Carolina. Tyler Zeller getting set to check back in. We'll be right back.
Can we maybe show that last play coming out, or you got something you got to do, Scott? That's fine. Yeah. No, I got you. Just so you know, what I'm looking at is they've made about 3 bounce passes into the post that were stolen. But when they throw it over the top, there's nothing. So maybe we could show something coming out of halftime.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, Ray Johnson, Steve Smith, Seth Davis, and Virginia Common Coach Shaka Smart will take you out for a live look at Baylor Xavier on CBS, plus all the latest NCAA tournament news, all coming up on AT&T at the half. Jim Nance and Nick's dad, Clark Kellogg, calling the game over on CBS. I'm sure that Clark is getting updates.
I bet he's got the iPad going.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be tough. Broadcasting a game while your son is playing in the Sweet 16. Tough to focus.
North Carolina has led by as many as 15. They've been hurt by turnovers. They've committed 11. Baltic running out.
Second shot he's had that has been halfway down and rolled out. Frustrating. That's a shot that he normally makes.
Baltic is 0 for 6 from the field. See Zeller, the 7-footer, towering over Baltic. Henson coming up short, deflected out last touch by Ohio.
A moment ago, Marv, we saw a near over and back from Nick Kellogg. You see his foot is over, but technically the ball, I guess the official is saying the ball did not cross that line. Looked to me like the ball did cross the plane.
Another North Carolina turnover. Cooper for 3. Cooper able to chase it down. Cooper goes to the crossover and sets it up for Offutt. Rebounded by Bullock.
Cooper just 1 for 8 now. Baltic 0 for 6. So 2 guys Ohio really counts on. 1 for 14.
Whoa! Couple of extra steps. And the ball back to Ohio on the walk by Henson. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Steve mentioned at the beginning that perhaps Ohio didn't look comfortable. Maybe the enormity of the building at yesterday's open practice. Coach John Gross told everybody, take as many shots, looking at as many angles as you possibly can. They do not have any experience playing in a dome. That game 2 years ago when they beat Georgetown was at the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
Oh.
As for North Carolina, no problems with sightlines. Remember, they opened the season on an aircraft carrier against Michigan State.
Steve, I know you shot around here yesterday with, I must say, great success. You were not bothered by the dome. Of course, there's nobody defending against you. There's Kellogg with his 3rd 3.
Carolina are losing sight defensively of their assignment. They know Kellogg is the best three-point shooter on this team. 42% coming into this game. They can't possibly leave him on a set play like that.
Ohio with his 6-7 turnovers for 5 minutes. For North Carolina, Zeller again, and he's fouled as he hits the floor. Helped up by DJ Cooper, so Zeller will go to the line.
Well, just an enormous advantage, literally and figuratively, for Carolina and Zeller in here. I thought he got fouled on the first one. But Ohio doing everything it can defensively to try to keep him out of the paint, but they have no chance without the physical bodies to do so.
Offutt on a foul, a second. Tyler Zeller, 82% free throw shooter. As we mentioned earlier, the ACC Player of the Year and the first North Carolina senior to win that award since back in 1978. Phil Ford won it. And the Academic All-American of the Year. We're talking about the entire nation. That's last touch by Ohio. The last person to win both ACC Player of the Year and be the Academic All-American of the Year. Shane Battier did it for Duke back in 2001.
Mom and Dad are proud. I mean, not only Tyler, obviously, but you've got Kobe playing for Indiana in the Sweet 16 later tonight. Older brother Luke played at Notre Dame. In fact, all 3 brothers were Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana in the span of 7 years. I mean, that's crazy.
Here's Cooper. One-handed by Henson. Three-point attempt off. And Barnes kept alive by Zeller. He swings it. Here's White for 3. And the foul called on North Carolina. That's over the back. Foul on Bullock.
Roy Williams was not happy with White on that shot, Marvin. Even though he was open and in rhythm, I think he wants his guys, all of them, really, to continue to pound the ball inside, particularly with Marshall on the sideline. If that shot had gone, it's one of those shots that, hey, it's a great look, it's a great shot, that gets him going. but because it missed, I always hated that as a player. When you miss a shot, it turns into a bad one.
Hey, how'd you take that shot?
Yeah.
Healy fakes it, swept aside and saved. Ends up in the hands of Bullock. And North Carolina will hold for a final shot of the half. Ohio able to get back into this, trailing by as many as 15, down by 7. Final seconds, first half. Barnes. Kellogg with the rebound. And John Bruce, as that goes off glass, has to be happy that his team came back after the poor start. Poor shooting by Ohio, but they end the half on an 11-3 run.
I think he has to be thrilled because Carolina was in total control of this game. They got a little out of their game plan, and a couple threes from Kellogg really got the Bobcats going.
All right, let's go to Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Coach, a tough spot for a learning experience by Stillman White. How do you think he did?
Well, our whole offense is not very smooth right now. We missed some shots, but we can't turn it over that many times. And it wasn't just Stillman. Everybody was turning over. We got to get better. Well, we got to get shots first, and hopefully they'll be good ones.
Tyler Zeller appears to have the hot hand. Do you want to keep going to him?
Well, we need to. We have an advantage in there, but we got to convince our guys to do that.
All right, thanks a lot. We're at intermission with a score. North Carolina 29, Ohio 22. We'll send you to the AT&T at the half after a quick break. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.
got to step in there. Don't be tentative. Keep being ready to shoot the ball just like you have been. All right? Great job. You guys get together. I'll get with the staff. We won the last.
Okay. Yeah. Too late. Yeah. Okay. Have some another water, please.
Yeah, okay.
So we're coming back with those two things, and Marv's leading me into that. Are you? And I just take it right off of Zeller into Kellogg. Okay.
I'm going to say led by as many as 15 turnovers, help them get back into it type thing.
Yeah.
So I should lead you to Zeller?
Zeller, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, what he said. Yeah. 1 for 9.
Cooper, yeah. 1 for 9 and Baltic 0 for 6. 8 for 35, 23%. Wow. North Carolina's led all the way.
Uh-huh. Thanks. Appreciate it.
It's nice.
I do have vodka in it. Yeah. Is there what? Yeah.
It really hides it effectively, you know, so people don't see the.
Only the NCAA. Do I have to get out of that Kellogg thing pretty quickly? Are we going to something else, or can I tag it with a comment? Okay.
Was a highlight of Kellogg?
Yeah,
we're going to mention something about.
Yeah, I'll just mention something and lead it back to you.
But his mom Rosie is here, right? Yeah. Oh, yes, I won't say it. Oh, yeah. I would think so, but yeah.
We're in great shape, fellas. 29-22. I mean, it's a 7-point game. That's 3 possessions. There's 20 more minutes to go. If you will guard like you guarded the last 10 minutes, that's going to get us out in transition. And then we just got to step up and make a few plays. We got to land a blow the first 4-minute war. Ready to go, boys. Fight. Walt, you got it.
1, 2, 3.
All for one for all.
1, 2, 3. Right.
We're in great shape, fellas. 29-22. I mean, it's a 7-point game. That's 3 possessions. There's 20 more minutes to go. If you will guard like you guarded the last 10 minutes, that's going to get us out in transition. And then we just got to step up and make a few plays. We got to land a blow the first 4-minute war. Ready to go, boys. Fight. Walt, you got it.
1, 2, 3.
All for one for all.
1, 2, 3. Right.
Ohio head coach John Gross's team down by 7, trailing by as many as 13 turnovers, hurting the Tar Heels, but Ohio right back in it with that 11-3 run at the end of the half. The big story for North Carolina, the play of 7-footer Tyler Zeller, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 block shots.
Well, he was dominant in that first half, and anytime Carolina went inside to him, something good happened. And on this possession, you'll see Offutt leaves a little bit early underneath the basket, and then Cooper not quite enough help, and Zeller just turns right over that left shoulder, knocks down the jump hook. So total domination in the paint, 18-6 in points in the paint for Carolina. Meanwhile, for Ohio, Nick Kellogg was on fire, 3 for 3 from the three-point line, basically kept his team in it. And Marv, if you take Kellogg out of the equation, the rest of the team 5 for 32 from the floor. That's why John Gross is pretty pleased to be where he is, because you know Cooper will get going eventually. But he's got to, his team has to feel some confidence here, knowing that Carolina's out of whack, and the Bobcats have not played very well at all, and yet they're right in it.
Problem with the clock, so they restart. You see DJ Cooper just 1 of 9 from the field. Mentioned Nick Kellogg, the son of Rosie and Clark Kellogg, our colleague, CBS Sports. Pretty fair player in his own right for Ohio State, and as a member of the Indiana Pacers.
Harrison Barnes doing a much better job staying on Kellogg that possession.
Offutt for 3. Walter Offutt with 10 points. The North Carolina lead is down to 4.
And I think that's got to be the focus of the Ohio offense. More penetrate, kick, make the extra pass, keep it moving.
Barnes is off. Back come the Bobcats. The point guard, DJ Cooper. Nice pass for Smith, but not able to convert. It is a tie-up and the possession arrow in favor of North Carolina.
Well, this is what you have to do when you play against a team with great size. Stretch them out. Put three-point shooters all over the floor. But in the first half, Marv, they weren't able to get that spacing and get that rhythm. That was a great possession there. Ohio has a bounce to its step. You can tell they've got some confidence going now. They're in the game emotionally.
The freshman Stillman White played 12 minutes in that first half. 13 points now for Zeller. 3 assists for White. 0 for 2 from the field. Justin Watts did play some at the point. There's no question North Carolina missing their point guard and team leader, Kendall Marshall. Off the steal. Henson taking the distance.
Marv, you mentioned Kendall Marshall, team leader, and even with the 13 turnovers for Carolina, I think that was the key, that what you talk about, the team leadership part of it. He is their unquestioned leader. He's the guy who gets them together. They looked totally disjointed in that first half, and when things went bad, they weren't together.
White with the steal, rejected by Smith. But Zeller right there. And how about the team leader being a sophomore?
Yeah.
Timeout is taken by Ohio. North Carolina with 6 unanswered.
And there's the steal from White. He has been really good in this game defensively. He deserves to play this whole half.
Oh, good. So much John Gross.
Yeah.
Good stuff that can get in. I have a good one for you. You'll enjoy this.
Okay.
Can I just see what's on the spotlight graphic? Thank you. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's good. Oh, okay. I gave a mention of. He does have a nice touch. Huh? Nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. Back in St. Louis, let's take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. John Gross, head coach of Ohio, longtime assistant. Spent quite a bit of time with Thad Matta in his 4th year as the head man of the Bobcats of Ohio. Nice pass underneath, and the reverse by Reggie Keeley. So North Carolina's lead is now down to 8. Here's Henson, and he draws the foul. I mentioned earlier, John Gross, as we have seen from his locker room talks, got lots of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Used to drink 5 cups of coffee a day, says he's down to 2. And his assistant coaches say he sleeps with his eyes open. Did you see anything wrong with that?
Did you make that up? You did.
No, I did not.
You did not.
He is a one-time high school math teacher. Despite that,
you know, spending some time with him yesterday, just feeling his energy and his enthusiasm and seeing how well coached his team is, it wouldn't shock me to see his name on a lot of lists. You know, there's some jobs available. You know, obviously the Illinois job is open to somebody. John Gross's name will be mentioned, I think.
Well, there have been reports already as Zeller is not able to hit. Zeller on the rebound, pops it right back up, and he draws the foul. Yeah, he's a hot head coach with the way things have gone for his Ohio team this season. There were reports out of Nebraska about a number of people, including John and The Cornhuskers might take a run, and Illinois has been mentioned.
And fair or not, you know, when you get to the Sweet 16 as a mid-major, you know, you get so much exposure that you automatically have a leg up over the competition. And there's a lot of great coaches out there who maybe don't advance this far and they don't get recognized, but give Gross credit not only for the job he's done this year, but in the tournament 2 years ago beating Georgetown. Those things get recognized.
Foul was on Ivo Baltic, his third, so he is replaced as Keeley checks back in. White trying to throw the charge on Cooper. And Cooper looking to the left-hand corner, stepped out of bounds, stepped on the baseline.
This was a matchup that I think Roy Williams had to be concerned about to start this game. DJ Cooper, the star guard against Stillman White. White has gotten the better of him, obviously with help from his large friends, but his defensive work has been fantastic here.
That pass surprised Zeller. Bullock, rebounded by Henson, and he is fouled. So Henson, foul of the act, will go to the line. Foul on Smith, that is his second. Get the latest gear for your team at the official store of the NCAA. Find great boot merchandise at ncaa.com/shop. Air ball thrown up by Henson. John Henson, a senior out of Durham, North Carolina. He's become one of the most dominating defensive forces in the country. All ACC first team, all defensive team for the second straight season. It is kept alive, and Henson is off. Another foul is called. It is on Ohio. Once again, it's on Walter Offutt. That's his third.
Marv, here's what you were talking about. 3 all-ACC first-teamers from one squad, Barnes, Henson, and Zeller, to go along with Rivers and Scott.
The strip. Good play by Offutt, leading to this. Offutt blows the layup.
Now there's a reason he blew it, and it's because of the long arm of Henson trailing the play. Ohio constantly aware of that size, both Zeller and Henson around the basket, forcing so many of these misses.
Now Bullock comes up hobbling, and he will head to the bench.
PJ Hairston comes in, and Marv, you get the sense that Carolina has sort of found its footing here, game plan wise, in this second half. They're not forcing up long range shots. They're being very patient, getting the ball swung side to side and pounding it inside. And as long as they do that, they should control this second half.
White getting it into the corner.
It's a bad shot. It's just a bad shot. You get out of the game plan, pound it into Zeller, and play off of him. Too quick there.
Baylor up by 9 over Xavier on CBS with about 4 minutes remaining as Offutt converts on a 3.
And that's the result. Long shot, long rebound leads to offensive flow at the other end. It wasn't a fast break basket, but it was a tempo basket. That's why Carolina has to continue to do this. Get it inside and then play off it.
Barnes coming up short. He's been off. And a travel is called. So the ball back to the Bobcats. Tar Heels by 7. We'll be back to St. Louis in a moment. Barnes is 1 for 10.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Barnes is 1 for 10. That's good. Yeah. Kent State, that was the Antonio Gates team.
Yeah.
You guys know who lost who beat Kent State in the 2002 regional? Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I could lead you to this. I'm going to say Ohio's made it to the Sweet 16 by beating Michigan. And,
Yeah.
Florida gets up. Perfect.
15 turnovers for Carolina.
Yeah, we said that, but they
9
said
steals.
9
Yeah.
steals, which is their average.
Yeah. Fourth in the country.
Yeah, yeah. Seed Ohio has made it to the Sweet 16 by defeating Michigan. Michigan, the 4th seed, and the knocking off South Florida. Steve, here's how MAC teams have fared since 1985, since the expansion to the current format.
Kent State, the only team to advance to the Elite Eight. That was the club led by Antonio Gates, the Chargers tight end. They eventually lost to Indiana. But the MAC has had some excellent basketball teams, and a lot of great coaches have gone through that conference on their way to major schools.
Just Hall to just check back in, flipping it out. Offutt. Yes, another 3. That's his 4th of the night, and Ohio within 4 after trailing by as many as 15 back in the first half. Offutt has 16 points, 9 of the 16 here in the second half.
Well, all the scoring really has come from Offutt and Kellogg. Cooper has not been able to get going, but the threes from those two guys has kept this club in it. And you can see from the bench's reaction, they're feeling confident. At the other end, I'm not sure about the body language of North Carolina. Harrison Barnes in particular, a very disappointing game for him with the leader, Kendall Marshall, out. You'd expect Barnes to step up, and he's just 1 for 10 right now.
Now that is a 5-second. No, apparently a timeout was called, just eluding the 5-second violation. Timeout called by the Tar Heels.
Yeah. Ohio staying in this one with its three-point shooting. They've made 7 now, and here's a good look at the first points of the half for Ohio. The drive and kick, that's Ohio's game. Spread you out, penetrate, get moving, and we see a turnover there on the out-of-bounds play from Carolina.
16th turnover committed by North Carolina. Getting back to Walter Offutt has helped Ohio get back into it. He's a transfer from Ohio State, playing a total of 23 games for the Buckeyes as a reserve over 2 years. Spent some time at Wright State, which is near Dayton. And they're now doing it for Ohio, averaging 12 points, shooting the 3 very well here tonight. Kellogg got it inside. Balls it, pops it out. Hall for 3. Yes! It is a 1-point North Carolina lead.
How about the pass from Baltic? And that's what he does, Marv. He's kind of a mid-range player. Gets in there, puts the ball on the floor, and then a wonderful passer once he forces the defense's reaction.
Oh, that was, I thought it carried.
Yeah, it sure looked like it.
Watts has come on for White. At had some difficulties playing the point in the first half, and a reach-in on Cooper, who is looking for the steal.
Watch this move from Baltic. He draws Zeller into the action, and when you can space the floor with your bigs, like TJ Hall here, now all of a sudden it doesn't matter what kind of size you've got defensively in the paint.
Ricardo Johnson coming on for Walter Offutt. Ohio with 9 unanswered. They've hit 3 consecutive from beyond that three-point line.
Can Carolina find any offensive rhythm? They just haven't been able to get the ball into the post where their advantage is. Obviously, Marshall's absence a huge factor here.
Barnes, I should say Henson, able to knock it down from straight away.
It's a big shot. Carolina desperately needs some points, some momentum, and some confidence.
So the Tar Heels by 3. 6 minutes gone by, second half. Baltic with a nice move and scores on the reverse. Went right at Henson.
And Zeller couldn't help because he had just helped out and given up the three-pointer to Hall, so that time he stayed on the perimeter.
White's got it inside, and it's deflected out. Last touch by the Tar Heels, and the Bobcats have an opportunity to take the lead for the first time tonight.
Look at the move from Baltic. Same move he made last time when he found TJ Hall for the 3. This time he lays it in on the reverse. Carolina more showing some frustration. You can see it in their faces and their body language, and the crowd here from the Ohio section really getting into it.
Cooper gets the pick from Baltic. Cooper pops it out. 3-point attempt. Ball came up short. Zeller and doubled. Deflected, but kept alive by Barnes. Now that is an offensive foul. A push-off called on Harrison Barnes, his second foul.
Well, Kendall Marshall may not have made that first team all-ACC team like Barnes and Zeller and Henson did, but he's the most important player on this Tar Heel team, and we can see why. Barnes is nowhere near the player he is without his point guard feeding him and getting him into the flow of the game.
The winner between North Carolina and Ohio will face the winner between Kansas and North Carolina State. Second of our doubleheader here on TBS. Cooper got the step. Cooper came up short. Cooper gets it back.
Thought that might have been a double dribble, and the Carolina fans all signaling for that in the stands.
Cooper watched by Watts. Cooper got the step on the fade. Oh, missed the follow. And it's deflected out. Last touch by Ohio.
Mark Cooper just 1 for 10 in this game, but he's one of those players where if he can just hit one shot, his confidence is right there. And the way this game is playing now, with Ohio really stretching out the Carolina defense, if Cooper can get a couple of those runners to go, it will energize the entire team and really get Ohio going.
James Michael McAdoo, the 6'9" freshman, has come back for North Carolina. Ricardo Johnson returns for Ohio.
Watts has to be very careful. Stevie Taylor, the freshman for Ohio, puts on a lot of ball pressure.
Ohio among the leaders in the nation in steals. They have 9 thus far today. That is deflected out. Last touched by Ohio.
Boy, tough call there for the Bobcats. Looked to me like Zeller got a hand on it as the ball went out of bounds. John Gross agrees with me. I think let's take a look here. The deflection, yep, right there from Zeller. They missed that one.
Watts had trouble inbounding. Good pressure here by the Bobcats. There's Barnes for 3. Kept alive by the Tar Heels. Offensive foul. Zeller coming together with Keeley, and the foul is on Tyler Zeller. 1 point, North Carolina lead. We'll be right back.
Wow. Oh, man.
they really look shaky too.
They look totally shaky,
particularly without a point guard.
particularly without White.
Yeah.
You know, when Watts is in there, they're really shaky. Okay.
All right, John, thanks.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thanks, John.
Greg, 1-point lead by North Carolina. The Tar Heels ranked #1 to start the season, finished up 5th in the coaches poll, 4th in the AP, going up against the Bobcats of Ohio, who have come back from a 15-point deficit. That rims out for Nick Kellogg.
Wow. Halfway down for Kellogg, and Cooper now getting into the lane, really causing the Carolina defense a lot of problems, opening up some looks on the perimeter.
Bullock for 3. Reggie Bullock. He has 8 points, but Tar Heels up by 4.
Well, you mentioned all those rankings, Marv, and the seed and everything else. This is not that same Carolina team that finished in the top 5 in the rankings. So we'll find out now if they can almost reinvent themselves in the Sweet 16. A tough thing to do when your point guard goes out of the game, and they've looked very uncomfortable, particularly after that first 8-10 minute stretch of the game.
Stillman White playing 17 minutes, 0 for 3 from the field, but has 4 assists. And Justin Watts in there right now as the foul is called.
Roy Williams is so frustrated. You know, it's interesting. I always think it's more difficult for the team with the most talent to make adjustments during a game. If you think about it, you know, Carolina almost always has more talent than their opponents, and they're a system program. They play the same style over and over again. And it reminds me a little bit of the Kansas-Purdue game last week when Purdue got Kansas out of its rhythm and its routine. That's what's happened here. So can Carolina adapt here with everything going wrong?
Stillman White has checked back in. That last foul on Keeley of Ohio. Baltic is back. Kellogg gets it down low. Baltic off the head fake. It's a three-pointer for Offutt, who just checked back in. Walter Offutt has been on fire. He now has 19 points. 12 have come in the second half.
And Baltic has been fantastic here in the second half, Mark. Just his activity offensively, forcing rotations and opening up looks.
Barnes continues to struggle. Foul is called, though, on Ohio. A holding foul. Foul on Baltic, and that is number 4.
Anytime you can get a big who can pass and move, it really forces strange rotations for the defense, and that's what's opened up this offense here for Ohio in the second half. He's been great, but that's a huge foul, Marv. Number 4 for Baltic. And Ohio will have to rely on Cooper and his penetration for its offense.
Bobcats are now over the limit. 1-1 here for Zeller. Good box out by Keeley. 10 minutes to play. Second half. Ohio within 1. North Carolina has led all the way. They've led by as many as 15. Keeley. Trying to change his shot as he was met by the 7-footer Zeller. Bullets pass beautifully done. Zeller now has 19.
How about Zeller, the block at one end, and then he runs the floor, beats everybody down the floor. Poor transition defense from Ohio.
3-point lead for the Tar Heels. Keeley again anticipating Zeller, and his last touch by Keeley. Now the officials will talk about it, and they change their mind. Apparently last touch by Zeller.
Yeah, Zeller is affecting so many of these shots, and he's doing a smart thing. He's backing away from Keeley, and there he swipes at it. That was a tough one to see. But Zeller is going to get a breather here. He's done a nice job of forcing Keeley to try to shoot through him. Keeley not comfortable with that.
The steal by McAdoo. James Michael McAdoo. 6'9" freshman off the steal and extends the lead to 5.
Just can't afford any mistakes if you're Ohio. You can't give away any points in a game like this.
White shaken up as he went down. Cooper for 3. Yes. DJ Cooper, who has struggled with the shot, able to knock down a 3. Pass picked off. Offutt with another Bobcat steal.
We'll see if that gets Cooper going.
Cooper 2 of 13 from the field. Offutt makes the turn. Kellogg. Yes! Ohio by 1. Bullock able to get it down low. McAdoo is fouled.
They're feeling it, Mark. Ohio now believes, because not only are they scoring, but they're getting good shots. The first half they couldn't find anything, but this second half, the penetration and kick game, the drive and kick, which is their staple, has been there, and they've been able to penetrate that North Carolina defense.
Foul on Smith. McAdoo to the line, fouled on the act. He has 2 shots, only a 63% free throw shooter. You can get coverage of the Division I women's basketball tournament at ncaa.com/Final Four. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We are at the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis. Located downtown St. Louis, the home of the St. Louis Rams of the NFL. And this is the first of our doubleheader. The winner between North Carolina and Ohio will face the winner between Kansas and North Carolina State in the Midwest Regional Final on Sunday. And the Bobcats of Ohio now down by 1. Trailing by as many as 15 back in the first half, over the first 7 minutes of the first half. Kellogg played by Barnes. Catch and shoot by Offutt. Rebounded by Zeller.
Another decent look, though, for Ohio. I mean, they've found how they can play against this bigger team in Carolina.
Bullock. 3-pointer for Reggie Bullock, who has 11.
Well, he was huge in that game against Creighton last week. Had 13 points and 10 boards, and 8 boards. So Bullock with that beautiful stroke, he will be very important, particularly with Barnes struggling.
Cooper firing from way downtown. 7 minutes remaining, second half. Tar Heels in possession. Henson cut off. The ball was deflected and recovered by Barnes. Shot clock to 10. Barnes to the fadeaway.
Carolina has never needed Harrison Barnes more than they do tonight, and he has struggled throughout.
Offutt wide open. Another three for Offutt. He has 22 points. That's his 6th from downtown, and Ohio is within 1.
Unbelievable shooting from Offutt and Kellogg. 6 for 10 for Offutt, 4 for 5 for Kellogg from beyond the arc.
Meanwhile, Barnes is now 1 for 12 from the floor. And they got about 6 minutes to play. Nice turnaround move by John Henson.
That's something he's added to his game this year. More of the junior who could have gone to the NBA a year ago, stuck around to develop his game. And that's one of the areas he's really improved.
North Carolina up by 3. Cooper, beautiful pass. Healy shot affected by Zeller. May have gotten a piece. Bullock with 3. Here comes Cooper. And by White. Oh, he finds the open man. The stuff by Keeley. Once again, the Bobcats of Ohio within 1. North Carolina calls for time.
Ohio looks like the fresher team. They look like the more confident team, and they're starting to find a groove. DJ Cooper, beautiful find for Keeley.
Steve, a look at our game summary. Ohio doing it with the 3-point shot. They're doing it with steals. They have 10, which is above their average, and they are among the leaders in the nation of that department. And you can see how North Carolina's shooting has faded as the game has progressed.
Yeah, they've lost their confidence. They lost their rhythm early without Kendall Marshall. And once Ohio got the confidence that they could actually hang with Carolina, they found their rhythm. I had a chance to talk to Clark Kellogg a few days ago. I called him to ask him for a scouting report on his son's team. I said, what do you think they have to do to win? He said they probably have to make between 10 and 15 threes to win the game. And looks like Clark was dead on. There's his son, Nick, who has 4 threes already, but 12 three-pointers for the Bobcats. Still 5 minutes to go.
Nick has hit 4 or 5 from beyond that 3-point line. Stillman, White playing for the injured Kendall Marshall. Watts and White on the floor together. Watts was playing the point for portions of the game. Henson, got to go glass, kept alive. Zeller getting position down low.
John Smith battling Zeller, trying to front him, take away that passing angle for the perimeter players of Carolina.
Now Zeller putting a move on Smith. Smith played him well. Cooper all the way. Yes! And the foul. He went right at Stillman White. Ohio has taken a 1-point lead.
Well, it hasn't been Cooper's night shooting the ball. He's just 3 for 15, but he has maintained his aggressiveness, and that's a big one.
what is this? 13 seeds or lower. Okay. Yeah. Baylor by 5 over Xavier. Okay. All right. Yeah. So 3, 4, 5, 6. The previous 6 teams have all lost. Previous 6 teams to make it as a 13 seed.
Kent State was a 12. Okay, I got you. Yeah, those were MAC teams we were looking at before. Yeah. That's good.
The number 13 seed or lower to make the Sweet 16, 6 previous trips, has lost. Let's see what the Bobcats can do right here with DJ Cooper at the line looking to complete a 3-point play. This is only the 3rd free throw all night for Ohio, and has a 3-point play and the biggest lead of the game for Ohio.
Marv, the only way that trend is going to continue where the lower seed loses is if somebody can make a play for Carolina. 3 all-ACC first-teamers on the floor. Henson, Barnes, Zeller. Which one of them is going to make a play?
Coming up on 4 minutes remaining, second half. Watts with it. Barnes tried to squeeze his way, and he stepped out of bounds. On the save, Bullock stepped out, so the ball back to Ohio.
There's Roy Williams' reaction. A long night for Barnes, long night for Roy. And without Kendall Marshall, as this game has gone on, Carolina has looked more and more disjointed offensively.
They have now committed 21 turnovers, which matches their field goal number. Baltic is back on the floor for Ohio, playing with 4 fouls. Cooper puts the move on Watts, and he draws the foul. Basket won't count as Smith followed up. Timeout, Ohio by 2.
A lot of Kansas fans rooting for Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Zeller on the foul, his 3rd. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, phenomenal.
So this will be video that Steve takes. Yeah. Okay. But I'll leave. Okay.
What does he have? 24? 22. 22.
22. But 2, 3, 4, 6, 5 threes in the second half. 5 threes in the second half. So 15 of his 22 in the second half. This is third strong game.
Yeah, yeah. Would you have Offutt's numbers in the first round against Michigan? I didn't write that down.
I didn't either. I know he had a strong game. I know 7 of 9 against South Florida.
Yeah, that's
but
what
I know he had a strong.
That's all right. Straight to me, right?
No, I do.
Oh, Marv doesn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do the card.
All right, thank you.
Let's take a look at the Capital One Cup impact performance.
Well, it's been the shooting of Walter Offutt. This is a guy who averages 12 points a game. He's got 22 here tonight. 5 of 6 threes in the second half. Remember, he was 4 for 4 against South Florida, so he has been scorching in this tournament. And Marv, now the scary thing for Carolina is, while Offutt and Kellogg have been hot, now DJ Cooper has gotten going. He's gotten into the lane. This is the second time he's gotten fouled. Last couple of shots, possessions, we saw him make a 3 from the corner. So Ohio has everything going now. And as a result, Roy Williams goes back to White, the better defender on Cooper.
Foul was committed by Zeller, who picked up his third. Cooper is 75% free throw shooter. He's been perfect at the line. He has scored the last 5 points for Ohio. A 7-0 run by the Bobcats. They lead it 57 to 53. And the steal, Cooper. Challenged by Henson. He tried to go to the other side, but Henson was not fooled. As Barnes curled in, he was hit out of reach by Offutt. And that is number 4 on Walter Offutt.
It's been interesting to watch Barnes here tonight, Marv. He's a player who likes his comfort zone. He can make a 3, but he really likes that 18 to 20 foot range. And without Kendall Marshall here to get him the ball in the spots that he likes, he's really been out of sorts offensively. And you see the effect that Marshall has. It goes way beyond the numbers, even though he's one of the top assist men in the country. He's a guy who does much more than just tally up numbers. It's all about flow and pace.
1-1 for Harrison Barnes, making his first appearance at the line. He has shot 1 for 12 from the field.
He has 5 turnovers as well.
Back tap kept alive by Bullock. Barnes to 3. The 1 for 12 not bothering Harrison Barnes.
And that's what great players are supposed to do. On nights when you don't have it, you still find a way.
Game tied at 57 as we come up on 3 minutes to play. Ball. Baltic, played by Zeller. Zeller has 3. Oh, what a pass! Beautifully gone behind the back, getting it to Offutt.
Baltic has been terrific this entire half with his passing, and his teammates know when he has the ball, if you cut and space, he'll find you.
Ohio by 2. Hanson, yes. That's a 2-pointer, had a foot on the line, of the game is tied.
Wow, under pressure. Barnes and Henson both coming through with big shots.
14 points for Henson. Cooper draws the double. Baltic just 1 of 7 from the field. Kellogg.
Carolina stays home that time as Baltic goes to the hoop. Better job defensively.
Shot clock down to 6. Cooper for 3. And a push off is called. foul on Hall. That is number 4 on Hall, and the 10th team foul, so they're in the double bonus.
And that's huge. That takes a lot of pressure off the shooter. Zeller will go to the line. He's an excellent foul shooter, 81%, but when you know you have that second one coming, it really eases you and gets you a little more relaxed on the line.
Zeller 3 of 5 here tonight, and 82% free throw shooter. Now Hall will sit down. Keeley checks in. So 4 fouls on Baltic, Offutt, and Hall.
And Roy Williams will go with the bigger Bullock on Cooper. And he slides Stillman White over to Offutt.
Ohio in possession. North Carolina has a 1-point lead. Kellogg looking for the pick from Baltic. Baltic goes at Henson, spinning his way, and he scores! Baltic 1 for his previous 7.
But he had played so well, Marv, passing the ball, that you could see the confidence in his eyes here later in the game.
Just under a minute and a half remaining second half. Ohio has a 1-point advantage. It's a 3-point attempt coming up with air. Harrison Barnes way off, and Ohio will put it in play.
Roy Williams furious with his team, trying to encourage them to get a stop. He's yelling, get one stop, but a very poor possession from North Carolina and Harrison Barnes. You've got to get the ball inside and play off of Zeller. That was a forced 3 under duress.
The Bobcats trying to put off a huge upset to advance to the Elite 8 for the first time in school history. They'd be the second MAC team to do it. Kent State did in 2002. We're final minute. Cooper. Cooper flips it up. A wild shot, took a shot to the head also. It's a 5-on-4 for North Carolina. Cooper gets back into the play. There's a long 3 by Bullock. Reggie Bullock from downtown, and North Carolina leads by 2:35 seconds remaining. Timeout taken.
John Gross, Marv, was screaming at DJ Cooper to get back defensively. Cooper thought he was fouled, and he got hit in the eye. He got back slowly defensively, and that led to the open 3 for Bullock.
North Carolina with a 63-61 lead on Ohio. There is our colleague, Clark Kellogg, working the doubleheader in Atlanta and checking out his son, Nick Kellogg, who has shot the ball very well. He's hit 4 or 5 from downtown. Very pensive look by Clark.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this was the biggest play of the game. You see Cooper gets hit in the eye from Zeller. No call. And John Gross, look at his coach screaming, get back, get back. And Cooper, in that case, unless your leg is bothering you, you've got to sprint back. Even if you can't see, you've got to sprint back. And ultimately, Marv, it leads to the transition 3 by Bullock because Ohio's defense was scrambled.
35 seconds remaining in regulation. 32 on the shot clock. Ohio ball. North Carolina with a 63-61 lead. DJ Cooper. Walter Offutt. Offutt has tied the game and the foul.
What a call from John Gross. Offutt has been his best offensive player here. He clears the side with the smaller Stillman White, and that gives Offutt the lane. the hoop and the foul, and now he goes to the line with a chance to put his team ahead.
First appearance at the line for Offutt, a 72% free throw shooter. White picks up his third. 25 seconds to play. So the Tar Heels can play it out. Now Roy Williams calls for time with 15 seconds left in regulation.
Wow, this is amazing. And now for Carolina, more of a really interesting situation. Every situation that they've been in this season, in this case, they've gone to Kendall Marshall. He's handled the ball. So now, what do? I think the ball has to go to Harrison Barnes. He's not had a good night, but I think you want to put him in a post-feeding situation. Get the ball into Zeller and play off of him, but you really want the last shot. You don't want to give Ohio too much time.
Are you surprised that the loss of Kendall Marshall has meant as much? I know a lot of people felt, hey, you look at that front line of North Carolina, the fact that you have 3 all-ACC players, you have excellent talent. You could get away with filling in with the freshman Stillman White and Justin Watts, but it has not worked that way.
I thought they would be disjointed, Marv, but not to this extent. They've been completely out of whack, and it just shows you the reliance on Marshall and the way they run their offense. It's so point guard dominated. And now with the biggest possession of the game here on the line, you've got to figure out a way to get the ball to the spot you want it to go.
And the double bonus in effect should there be a foul. White handles down to 10 seconds. The game is tied at 63. Barnes lost it. Final second as Cooper fires and hits the side of the rim as we head to overtime.
I didn't like the call. More of an ISO for Barnes, who was 2 for 13 to that point. Really doesn't get a good look. Great job defensively by Offutt. Loses the ball. And then Cooper almost finishes things here. Just barely wide right.
And Offutt did well to tap that ball ahead. So you see head coach John Gross trying to will it home. And Clark handles it in more low-key fashion, I'd have to say.